Sweet. All right. Cool. We're live. Instructor Zero. What's up, man?
Yeah, what's up? Good. I am right now in the academy. I
Yeah.
supposed to start work today. We have a very long session because we have to record some videos regarding some training programs. So I'm waiting the guys here. So
Yeah.
I still academy.
Talk to us about what is the CERT Academy? What is this? I mean, I
Uh,
know. Tell people what is the CERT Academy.
Spirit Academy is basically the dojo of the mind.
Dojo of the
The
mind.
dojo of the brain, yeah.
Brain.
I wrote in a big banner here. We train your most powerful weapon, and by the way, the only one that you have. That's your brain. That's your mind.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So what is this? What do you do in the CERT Academy? You do math problems.
uh, we uh, we work. So, train Spirit Academy is the result of years of application of specific dynamics, training dynamics,
Mhm.
studies and researches that I did in the last years. I think since that we started, we always talk about cognitive process, brain
Yeah.
process training related to firearms. But basically here, uh, in this facility, we don't use the real firearms. We use different kind of technologies. Some of the most advanced technology. We have everything from laser technologies, visible lasers, IR lasers. We have
Yeah.
virtual reality. We have all kind of targets in terms of different kind of devices for visual training, devices and technology for to increase the messages, the reaction between the visual training and the neurovisual training, the neurovisual stimulus and the neuromotor stimulus. So it's
No, it's bullshit because no real guns, right?
uh,
We're
yes, yeah,
talking
more
about
or less.
training.
It's depend about which kind of subject you have. Yeah. And
Yeah.
as I explain it these days, I'm talking often about this. So the point is this. I think that this is for someone like me that works for our years and years that I work with firearms, and obviously I work in live fire and on the shooting range, like anybody else that train with firearms. I decided to make this investment, creating a training center that is based on dry sim technologies and is based on a neurocognitive performance, because I think not only is the future in 5, maximum 10 years, 85% of training will be made uh, by this kind of technologies, this kind of dynamics, and only 15% is going to be in a ballistic condition in terms of live fire. And this because cost, risk, benefit, and also the laws that we are seeing, especially in Europe. Out of this, which is the point? I don't know. You want to talk really about that? I mean, it's going to take a little bit long.
I know. The thing with Instructor Zero is he can't give short answers. We had
Yeah,
this.
no. If no, I can give short answer if is a simple answer.
Okay. So
If it,
let me ask you a simple question, okay? And it's relating to a transition, a bridge between knife work and firearms work, okay? You
okay.
said that a good majority of training for firearms needs to be using safe training tools, inert weapons, different elements, right? Uh, what about for knife? Do I need to be training with a live blade? What is the transition here? Because this doesn't cost it. This costs the same as a training blade. So why not just train with a live blade?
Or wait, the point is, I think that the question should be different. I mean, let's talk about, for example, firearms. So when you are on the range, your training is absolutely limited because safety, and this is absolutely right, because there isn't a single inch of technical point reason techniques application that could be above safety. So safety in training has to be point number one.
Mhm.
Is the tip of the pyramid. Safety is on the top. No discussion on that. So everything has to be under that. So because the shooting range is a controlled environment, and because we are talking about training, one of the things that we have to warn, doesn't matter the level of the subject you have inside the training. I'm talking even about special forces or simple civilians. The level of safety has to be measured and has to be always at the priority of any technical exercise, drill, application, whatever. So because this in the shooting range we are so limited instead of angles, instead of movement, instead of in related with everything we can do in a kind of environment, even if the environment is built exactly to allow people to use safely firearms, you still have rules, and these rules are important because the rules are useful to keep the level of safety in an efficient level. If I break the angle of the barn, the fact that I am in the shooting range doesn't change nothing. I could become dangerous because if I shoot over the barns, that could be
Right.
a problem. Okay, so this is the starting point. So the first thing is that we use when we use dry sim technology, for example, lasers or whatever, uh, is we have to understand that we can move in 360 degrees. For example, we can have a target in 360 degrees. We can do movement in 360 degrees. We can do many things that normally on the shooting range we are limited because safety. This doesn't mean to provide a bad habits because we are not using in a proper way the firearms. We just complete the movements that we can't do in the shooting range.
Amen.
So to go back to your question, I have to use a real knife or a fake knife. It depends why you want to use a real knife, to what you want to recreate. Because again, you can use a real knife, but if you're still in training, still training. So you don't want to stab the other subject anyway, even if you use a real knife. So not because you are using a real knife, your training become more realistic. What you are increasing only is the risk that someone is going to be injured. And this is absolutely a bullshit when someone, and there is, I
It
say
is
bullshit. Listen, I say bullshit because logic, common sense, uh, after safety, the second point should be logic and common sense. There isn't one injury that can be avoided
Oh, we lost your audio, Instructor Zero. You're gonna have to come back in. Yeah, we lost it. I think you got a phone call. I think that's what happened. So I'm gonna kick you out, and then you're gonna log back in. Okay. All right. So this is something that I've repeated before. Instructor Zero will be back. And again, I came across today somebody talking about training with live blades. And Zero is somebody who has inspired the methodology that I apply to knife work. When people say we train with live blades, I think training with live blades is perfectly fine to some degree. Here comes Zero again. Yeah. So anyway, you're continuing. It's bullshit because number one priority safety and then logic. Still no audio. We're gonna try to solve this on the fly. I will let you know once your audio is back. Um, edit mic settings, echo cancellation. No, we still can't hear you. Um, so yeah, no. What is this? Technical errors, bro. Good thing I have the most casual podcast in the history of humankind where we don't stress about this stuff. We're going to need to resolve this. Something's up. Let's try again. I'm going to kick you out again, and then you try to log back in. Maybe you need to close your app or restart your app. Kicked him out again. What is this? Uli Vidal. What, oh, did I miss a comment somewhere? Um, yeah. So we're talking about training fallacies, and again, this whole train like you fight like you train. There's enough element of truth to it, but
Can you hear me now?
no, just kidding. I can hear you. We're
You
good.
can hear me.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Training with
what I
live.
was what I was saying is that again, the
Jesus Christ. Oops, sorry. Pardon my language. But your audio just died again out of nowhere. Bro, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Now he probably can't hear me. Well, this is terrible. This is the worst podcast ever. I gotta go message this guy. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. I really appreciate it. Audio dropped out again. Yeah. There we go. Oh. That's right, son Joseph. It is funny. All right, here it comes. Here it comes.
yeah,
We're good.
good. You hear me now?
I can hear you now.
So this is probably some powerful haters that are trying to saboting our life. Anyway, I was. It's logic, guys. It's a common sense. Why I have to increase the level of risk in training? For no purpose. There is no technical advantages on use something. So I do. Do I need to use a real knife to have to be more careful my movements? Do I need to use the real knife because I have, I don't know, the advantage? I don't know. I'm not a knife guy because so I can feel more the weight or the risk or something like that. But in technical point, I don't think you have any kind of advantages because you still in training and the person, the subject is in front of you is not a real opponent. Is a guy that
Your
you
friend.
don't want to injure.
Yeah.
It's a guy that you don't want to stop. So moving with a real knife could be more dangerous, but you're still in the same technical point, even if you use a fake knife. Now, I could understand, for example, that you use electric knife or like a
Yeah.
like yeah, that makes the sense. It's like when you use a simunition in a,
Well,
with a
hurts.
yeah, it hurts. But listen, I want to tell you this: if I'm going to do an experiment out of the units where they tracking also the results that are very important because for many people the results in some top level units are so important, so they have to pay attention, they move carefully in what they do because they have to explain after why they did something like that. When
Mhm.
we go with a medium level in terms of CQB or in terms of force on force. People love force on force because everything that seemed like a real scenario is super cool. And then you see how many heroes there are when you have a force on force. People, even with the simulation now, with Airsoft, you can have the best heroes everywhere, every time, because no one is scared by Airsoft. So they try to do action that they never
Right.
apply if was a real firearm. With simulation, they are a little bit more carefully because are a little bit more painful, but they still a training tool, and they know this. So you move not with the fear of being shot. So whatever you're going to do, many times you take more risk than what you. I hope that what you uh, will have done if was a real firearm. So if I'm going to say, hey, every time you're going to be hit with a simunition, you have to pay $500. Then you will see people that
That's
really
good.
will be more conservative than any time. You're going to see some superhero that just two action before they start to come out from a room or
Right.
acting like a superhero, they start to be really careful because are more scared of the $500 than their life.
I like I know you're kidding, but there is actually logic to that. And the logic is when you increase the penalty without increasing the danger, then you kind of get this correct balance of respecting the training platform and
Yeah.
understanding the real consequences of application. So when it comes to knife, maybe a shock knife is a good idea to use. An aluminum training blade where the edges are dull, but it's still a hard implement. But just like you don't do force on force with real bullets, right? Zero.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's not a force on real bullets. It's called gunfight.
It's called a gunfight.
Yeah.
That's it.
The
So,
gunfight is a force on force with the with a real ammunition.
hey, look, man, we are both influencers in social media. You in the
No.
firearms world, and it's a terrible term. I fucking
Yeah.
hate the term
Yeah.
influencer. Okay, nonetheless true. It's nonetheless true because man, influencer is such a. It's to me, it's kind of a disgusting, gross term now. You know, oh, I'm an influencer. Um, yeah, it's it's ridiculous. But as influencers, what
Yeah.
are some illogical trolling comments that you get? What because we do drills. What are some common? I'll share with you one. Okay, one common thing I hear whenever I show a knife drill is try that against a gun, or will that work against a just stupid crap. Or whenever I show a drill, they say that drill is not realistic.
Yeah. The
Fucking
the problem is the fact that many people they don't have parental control in internet, and that is a but it's part of social media. I mean, that's social media give voice to everybody. Now, it's true that everybody can have a good idea. Doesn't matter the pedigree, the background, or whatever. I can receive a good idea from a guy for a teenager that never touched a firearm. I have to say maybe had a good idea. So we're still open and we still listen to people. Unfortunately, many times doesn't matter the caption you write, or doesn't matter if we are talking about 8 second video where no context, no outside information is a kind of segment that is impossible, even for Batman or Superman, to have an idea, technical idea about what they say, except if it's something that is absolutely no logic or whatever. But people, and you know what I saw in many years is that you never be disappointed by CQB videos, by hand-to-hand videos, by gun retention videos, by any time you involve multiple disciplines or kind of things where everybody can say, can provide an opinion. So let me explain this concept. I want to ask you something. So we said that, or I think we are agreeing on this point, that whatever I'm going to share, whatever I'm going to explain, whatever is the technical point, first of all, has to pass the filter of the simple logic. Is this correct? Has to make sense. The
it has to.
reason nothing in any kind of discipline that could make sense without have logic. Understand? So
Agree.
whatever is the technical point, even the more complex, the most complex, advanced concept in terms of technical application of something has to
Mhm.
make has to pass the filter of logic.
Of
If there is
course.
no logic, there is no sense.
Right.
Then
Agree.
now said this or this said, we can say that one of the problems in this industry, people make a lot of confusion between technique and tactics, between technique, tactics, and procedures,
Technique.
between what is the real scenario with or what is a general principle. They don't understand that when I heard, every time I heard the word real applied on training, especially on the range, something that real scenario on the range. Man, real scenario on the range, it's really something that make me laugh. You want to talk about a real scenario in a kind of environment that is completely different than the real scenario, and you have the same problem in the gym. You
Oh
have
yeah.
a kind of you have a kind of scenario that's completely different. So how you can tell, how you can talk about, just because you recreate like a shooting house, that could be a real scenario? No, that is a simple uh, area where you can recreate some general dynamics that after you have to apply. But think about how different are the artificial environment, the microenvironment, houses, flats, or think about how is in Europe and how is in the United States, how is in the Philippines, in Africa. We have different buildings, different structures, different social dynamics, different way,
Oh, well,
different.
social dynamics, right? That's a
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
entire
sure.
conversation, right?
Here, the houses, you have been here, so you know that here the houses are completely different than United States.
Yeah.
So, and one thing is to operate inside a killing house that is recreated in a shooting range where you have a ballistic environment. One thing is operate in a real house where you it's a full of obstacles, objects, stuff that you don't have in a real killing house. Even if you try to make inside some couches and chairs and table, whatever. Just is one configuration. Every house is different. You could have so many variables that. So we have to talk about general principles. So a killing house is a kind of space that is useful because you can recreate a general principle, not a standard that can be applied everywhere, right?
That's right.
So, and this is a specific. That is the most near concept in terms of a reality versus training environment. So we have the first mountain. Everyone work inside. We are going to have a live this evening with a very interesting subject, professions. You are going to see very good pedigree. But we are discussing during these days about this. So the first mountain we have to climb for everybody is step back. In any kind of field where you have two environments, one is the learning environment where you study, where you prepare yourself, where you
Yeah.
build your skill set, where you build your knowledge,
Yeah.
and then where you have another environment where you're going to
Application.
apply.
That's
Yeah,
right.
think about doctors, medicine, for example.
We
So
get it. Okay, so just to recap
the
before you
point is,
continue, we're talking
okay,
about the difference between the
okay,
training
yeah.
environment and the application environment.
So
Continue.
the idea for logic, again, for common sense and logic, the idea in every field is to build a kind of environment that is as more similar as you can to the applicative, to the real environment where you're going to apply, right? Think
Correct.
about the pilots, for example, with the simulators. The simulator is basically exactly the same environments where they are going to apply, even if it's a simulator.
Sure.
Okay, and this is why the attendance of the pilot is at 100%. It's one of the categories where they have more control in terms of critical situation. We can talk this later. So when we arrive to firearms, or even when we arrive to self-defense or knife stuff, we have a big problem, and with the firearms is bigger than knife and hand to
You're
hand,
right. That's
because
right.
we involve collaterals that we you don't involve with a hand to hand and with knife.
Mhm.
The big problem is this. So unless you are a competitive shooter or a simple passionate subject that you use the firearm all in the shooting range, and you don't have an
Mhm.
idea to use a firearm for defense in a real environment, or you don't have to carry a firearms in a real environment, then it's perfect. So if we take, for example, the competitive shooter, the pro shooter, the competitive shooter trains itself inside the shooting range. That is his learning environment. And is going to apply for competition in the same kind of environment, because competition are made inside the shooting range. So this is called attendance of the environment. The attendance of the environment between the learning environment and the applicative environment is 100%. So it's perfect. But if we analyze any law enforcement, civilians with that carry a firearm for defense, any security guards, any military, anyone that has to carry a firearm as a tool in his job outside the range in a real life, now we have a big problem, because the shooting range and the real scenario are completely two different environments. There
Correct.
is nothing in common. The attendance is 0%. 0%. Think about how could be hard this. This is the first mountain that we have to climb, because I'm going to train in a kind of environment that is completely different where I'm going to apply. So this means that the shooting range is a kind of environment built to use a firearm, but the shooting range is a bidimensional environment. The
Right.
real environment is three-dimensional environment. Shooting range are flat. The real environment, especially the artificial one, is not flat, but even the natural one. And the shooting range is the ballistic environment is around you is homogeneous, because it's built for firearms. The ballistic environment you have around you in a urban environment, artificial environment, can change in 10 yards that where you walking on the
Get it.
street.
What
You
is
can
the
have
solution? What is, can you give us as an instructor, how do you
That's the
solve
first.
this
That's the
problem?
first mountain. Second mountain, and then we go to solution. The second mountain, that's an even bigger problem than the first, is not only that we train in a kind of environment that is different, but the second mountain is the fact that in that kind of environment, we don't have interaction in terms of sensory interaction in the environment. Our level of interaction is so low. If we have to compare it, a normal training, whatever we do in training, is more or less 3% in terms of interaction. If we compare this with a simple action like crossing a road with traffic, we pass from 3% to 60%. So it's the interaction we have when we cross a street is 57% more. It's the job of our brain, of our systems. It's a way more difficult just
Mhm.
crossing the road than I use a firearm inside the shooting range. And we
Right.
know that if one day I have to use a firearm in a real environment, that kinds of interaction is not 60%. It's going over and over and over. So how I could be prepared to hold this kind of interaction where when I work in a kind of environment where my brain is in holiday, where everything I do is pre-known. Think about this. Think about some paradoxes. Right now, the whole, and I'm talking about worldwide, the whole industry, if we have to evaluate a shooter or any kind of evaluation test with firearms, shooting test, shooting maintenance, every time I have to evaluate someone in terms of shooting skills,
Yeah.
the only two parameters that I'm going to
Measure.
evaluate, to
Mhm.
measure, are time, speed, and accuracy. The speed is measured by time, by a phonochronometer that is a shot timer. The
Mhm.
accuracy is measured by the terminal ballistic, the holes they have on the target. That's it. That's the only two things they have.
That's
Now,
right.
when I'm going to do whatever is the drill or the action I'm going to do, let's say I hit the target in a point 0.50. I hit 10 times. I do a very good grouping using all the draw will be under a
Breaking point.
second. So if I'm going to analyze technically that kind of performance for the large majority of in this industry, for basic for most everyone, this is a great shooter. Good grouping, good consistency, good timing in terms of very, 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 very fast shooting, and still in alpha, still in the 8 zone. So that's perfect performance. In terms of performance, that's great. That's good. But the problem starts when I'm going to give a meaning to those numbers. So what I'm looking for, I'm looking for to me, I'm measuring the reaction time of the shooter. No, I'm measuring just the mechanical time based on a reaction or a pre-known stimulus, stimulus that arrive by auditory system, because it's the beep. So everything I'm going to do, whatever is the drill, the exercise, the test I have to do, is going to be pre-known. The sequence is going to be pre-known. The target are pre-known. The input, the reactive input, the stimuli is pre-known stimuli. And I know that is going to be by the beep, so on the auditory level. The action is pre-known action. So everything is pre-known. Plus, I even know that the imminence of the action, because they shoot, are you ready? They advise me that I'm going to be ready, right?
Mhm.
So now, do I want to compare all this information? I want to consider the numbers that came out from this action as my reaction time. No, no way. That is less than 25% of the value of a reaction time. Why? We use the auditory stimulus as the only one in a reaction. But
In
we
real time, yeah.
acquire the environment 83% by our view, and we know it's a scientific, is an evidence. We know that the view is the main sense, is the dominant sense. Because if I make you deaf, you can shoot and you can hit the target. If I make you blind, no way you're going to hit the target. Understand? So, by our view, and this is why the visual abilities are so important and so deep. And now is the future. The future is based exactly in the neurosciences, because we understood that the potentiality of our systems, and we have to increase that. But to come back on the point, so what we are doing right now, we are going to moving whatever we do in the range, we are going to move for first. We are going to shoot for first. We are going to be the only one that is going to shoot. We are going to move in a pre-known input that I don't have to discriminate, because on the shooting range, there is no noises except the bang and the beep or your voice. There is other noises. Think about inside in a city where you cross the street, you could have tons of noises, and your brain is able to detect the sound, the noise coming from tires, because maybe a vehicle take a turn too fast, or they can detect the noise of an engine that is very high, so means that probably is going fast. So these noises in the middle of all the noises that you receive in a very noisy area are detected by your brain as a danger, as a stressors, and the brain turn your head in the direction of these noises. Just doing this action means that your brain, if we are going to analyze what it's doing, your brain is able to track every element around you, to track the trajectory, the speed, to analyze and compare in real time the speed and the position of every single object around you, compared to your movement, your speed, your trajectory in
Right.
real time in multiple levels. And you want to compare this with a simple draw where we have one stimulus that is already pre-known by our brain, that we heard tons and tons of times, so we don't need to detect nothing, we don't need to discriminate nothing, we just have to keep it and move. Now, what we are going to produce after that stimuli is a sequence, a biomechanical sequence, a motor sequence that I have built in tons and tons of reps. And here is another big mistake. The same process you have with a knife or with a or with a hand to hand is the fact that you don't have uh, you don't have to adapt. It's you are the only. It's called when you have to be interactive with the environment, or when you interact with an action, you generate a reaction that is called a loop uh, of reactions, action reaction. So let's say you receive an action, you react to that action, you generate another action that is going to generate in the other subject another reaction, and by the way, is going to generate in you another reaction to the reaction. So
Yeah.
it's like a stone that enter in a water, generate circles, right? So when you throw multiple stones, this circle is going to cross over each other. And here is the same. So when we are on the range, the second mountain we have to climb is the fact that our brain doesn't work. But we know that in a real environment, what is going to make the difference is not how fast you are on doing some physical sequence, physical movement, but in how much time require you to understand, to discriminate the threat, or even before, to discriminate a dangerous condition so you can avoid the condition, you can avoid the risk to find yourself
Right.
exposed. Understand? So if you are able to read the environment, to analyze information in multiple levels, and this not only with firearms. Think about, you can have
Yeah.
it
Have
happened
you
to
heard
me.
of RPD? It's called recognition prime decision making.
Yeah, but you know that 98% of the decision-making process are based on visual stimulus and not
That's right.
auditory.
I understand. So the term recognition prime decision making is a process. It's a learning process, right? By exposing us to multiple stimulus and understanding the probability of danger, then we prime ourselves. Just like this is the way I explain it. Okay, it takes 0.4 seconds for a stab. Okay, the moment we see a danger, analyze that it's a danger, take something like zero point 0.7 to zero point 0.4 for that electrical signal to travel from our eyes to our brain and initiate. There's no time. So it is the recognition of danger that primes our decision making. And so I think what you're doing, and I'm kind of jumping to the answer to make your point a little bit more concise, because you're talking for a long time.
I know.
Before I put words into your mouth, this whole idea of recognition prime decision making, you are trying to put a cognitive load on your students so that they can sort out the noise and
Yeah.
be able
So
to produce not only good decision making under stress, but also to execute the technical standards that allow them to produce an outcome that is a
yeah,
hopefully good outcome.
you
Is that
said that. Yeah, more or less. You said that, for example, to draw a knife and hit someone, stab someone, require, let's say, 0.40, right?
yeah. It
Something
can
like
be
that.
as fast as that.
Okay. The point is, how much time required to you to avoid that condition?
So for me, just to see that threat, it's something like 0.17. There's no time.
There's no time. Yes, that's the point. But to give you an example, a classmate of my wife was killed a couple of years ago in Chicago by a single stab. He got multiple stab, but the first one was the fatal one. He was walking on the street on the phone,
Yeah.
and he got stabbed on the throat, and
Mhm.
then he got stabbed again. But the one on the throat was the fatal one. Okay, was stabbed by a young guy, 18 years old, that after grabbed his money bag, took his credit card, went to buy a cigarette. If the victim was carrying a firearm, could make any difference?
No,
No, because he didn't react. He just got stabbed while he
he
was
didn't even
walking.
recognize the threat.
Yeah, why? But because that the problem is. Because the first mistake was mindset. The first mistake was he wasn't paying attention to the surrounding. He
Mhm.
was on the phone, and there are places where you know
It's
this
not
is a
a good idea.
kind of mistake. So why to our student we have to teach only shooting staff? Because
Yeah.
after these guys they're going out, and they on their daily life they have
Yeah.
to face. And if you teach them first mindset, the proper mindset in terms of which are the dynamics they should follow to avoid the risk to have a gunfight and not to manage a gunfight.
Mhm.
First. Second, you have to teach them how to carry a firearm because they are going to carry a firearm for years and maybe they never have a gunfight.
Right.
Or they're going to carry a firearms for years and maybe have only 5 seconds, and those 5 seconds make the difference. But many times it's because they carry the firearms in the wrong way that could become a big danger for them because if someone see the print of the firearm in some
Right.
places like South Africa, for example, South America, Latin America, that could be enough to
Mhm.
be involved in a problem. So they have to know how to carry properly. So why we have to just start from transition, from when we already have the problem, and we
Mhm.
have to solve with the last ratio using a firearm instead of teach them how to prevent the problem, the condition. Now
Sure.
to do that, what we do, step number one in my how is built our system is built in four main structures. The architecture of training is built in four main structures. Structure number one is based on the first absolute interaction, the one between the shooter, the human capital, and the firearm. The same for you and the knife. If you don't solve that, and this is where is the first structure, the first interaction, the one step back. When we talk about shooting, we involve four elements: shooter, tool, target, environment. Okay? Three interaction. The first interaction, shooter tool, shooter firearms. Okay? If I don't solve this, if I don't build a solid interaction, and I'm talking about mechanics and biomechanics, whatever I'm going to build up to that is going to be fake, it's going to be
Right.
unstable. And this is why in this industry we still have people that join CQB courses and they barely able to hold the gun in the hand
Right.
because they never
Yeah.
fix the foundations, the fundamentals of shooting.
I agree.
Second, second interaction, the binomial that is formed shooter firearms has to interact with the target. Okay?
Correct.
So that is another interaction. And there is where you have to build a lot of stuff more. But this interaction is going to happen inside for sure. Whatever is the condition, you are going to be rolled in a kind of environment. You can't avoid this. So the
Right.
four element, the environment, is another important element. Now, the first point is to build the first interaction, to build the foundations, the solid mechanics and biomechanics of shooting. Second step is to increase the systems, auditory system, visual system, neurocognitive system. You have to increase your capability, your visual abilities, your the coordination between the visual stimulus and the motor stimulus. You have to build this because the more you increase the machine, the better and the more useful it is in not only for firearms, even driving a car or whatever.
You
Because
get it.
if you train your brain to don't go in overload, as soon as start to receive a very heavy fluxes of information and has to rationalize, has to elaborate this information in real time, in a frame of second or in a sub-second, and you have to take a decision that is irreversible, a reversible decision, because if I press the trigger, I can go back. I can go back the bullet. So think about how hard is it, this
Hmm.
process.
Yeah.
So the more I train my brain to work, to analyze, to be able to analyze, to be interactive with the environment, anytime in any kind of environment, analyzing multiple information that are arriving in multiple level, so auditory, visual, and blah blah blah. And I have to translate this information and work this information in real time. The better is. Then after that, I can start to move. I can start to build up to my base more complex structure like the dynamic structure, like the neurocognitive structure. So, for example, uh, we dedicate one entire the second hours of our first first structure is mechanics and biomechanics. The second one is proprioception. The proprioception is a transitive structure that is useful to prepare for dynamic condition. Then the third is full dynamic structure. The fourth is neurocognitive. So we arrive only at the end on the neurocognitive process, but before we have to prepare the systems to arrive to the fourth. Understand? So you still have that. Which is the solution? The original question. Which is the solution?
Yeah.
The question is, which is the only element is in common in the two environments?
Sorry, what's the question?
You said me how we have to we said that the attendance between the learning environment and the applicative environment for anybody that carry a firearms or has a firearms as a tool or even in hand to hand or knife. Okay, so two different environments, totally different environment, but there is one element that is in common in both environments. Which is the element?
The human, the you.
Exactly. So
Right.
the answer, which is, we have to work on the human capital and not on the real scenario, because the scenario is something that
Absolutely.
could be completely different. There
So
are too many variables.
I get it. So give me one meaningful way that you, as an instructor, can recreate cognitive load so that you can evaluate a student's performance in decision making.
So it depends. For example, first of all, it depends about if the stimulus that I'm going to generate stimulus. And the stimulus has to be splitted where? In visual stimulus,
Yeah.
auditory stimulus,
Mhm.
and cognitive stimulus in terms of association. That
Right.
anyway they're going to involve the visual abilities or the auditory system anyway.
Correct.
But for example, you have to build. There are tons of things. We use math. We
Math.
use this math. Yeah,
Yeah.
math for cognitive association. That's work great. To give you an idea, just answering a cognitive stimulus, cognitive input before the beep
Mm-hmm.
can change from a sub-second to 11 second the reaction time.
11 seconds.
Yeah, that's happened to me.
Hmm.
I went from sub-second to, because it was very tough drill.
Yeah.
Second thing is important conditions, right? So we use different kind of devices. We have a bowl, for example, that change colors. So every time you have a hit on the ground, has a different color. So blue, red, green. Okay, it's very one of the tool we use for visual training. So the fact that that you see that stimulus so close to you in
Mm-hmm.
terms of reaction time that wasn't pre-known,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to, for example, to grab, if it's coming red, you have to grab with your left hand.
Yeah.
If it's coming blue, right hand. If it's coming green, both hands. And here we are talking about kindergarten level.
So just real quick, what you are doing is you're breaking the predictability of the stimulus, right? Which is super important. It's just like once the student identifies that there is a pattern, then they can start cheating and prepping their reaction based on their recognition of a pattern. So you're constantly trying to disrupt the idea that there is this pattern that they can rely upon.
Yeah, the
It's
first
called the backward ball. It's a great tool. I use it myself for knife training.
Yeah, the first thing we have to change is the predictable and the pre-known
That's right.
elements. So the less pre-known elements we have, the more we are going to involve the brain. We push
Correct.
the brain in elaborating informations that it doesn't know before. They were not pre-known, or the brain has to discriminate the information
Right.
in different ways, in different level.
But
Because
there is a value. There is a value to knowing a set of parameters, maybe to work on your mechanics, especially when people are first learning, right? You
yeah,
have a cue. We have patterns in knife work where we do this, you do that. I blow my whistle, you shoot, right? So there is a benefit to some, and at early stages, and also in a continual way, these patterns. But that is a totally separate thing that we are developing, right? We're developing mechanics. We're trying to
we
work.
work in multiple levels. So
That's
we
right.
start, for example, on a neuromotor training.
Yeah.
So, for
Yeah.
example, we push the brain to work in uncomfortable condition because the cerebellum is the part of the brain that is in charge to compensate, to adapt, and to correct our movements, to change, for example, the point of gravity control.
Right.
Uh, we plan the movement by our eyes. So we see, we plan, we act. That's the problem. So we start to alterate the views, the FOV, the field of view. We
Right.
start to work in view deprivation with one eyes, with both eyes, with kind of devices, trouble glasses or pin glasses. We are going to push the brain in a kind of condition that
Right.
is really uncomfortable, where it has to do a lot of job. Plus, we ask to the body, we will provide procedures that you have to follow in terms of motor
Hmm.
skill. So this makes things really harder. And then
Right.
when we go up with the level, we start to alterate the physiological condition, the physiology,
Yeah.
alterating the oxygen, the
Heart
cycle of oxygen.
rate. Yeah. I get it.
And because the oxygen, the respiration is a game changer
Mm.
in this game.
Mhm.
It's mandatory now. We have so many evidence, so many studies, so many scientific proof and evidence that the
Right.
respiration is the key for
Yeah.
many, especially in our application. So we start to alterate a kind of to provide always a kind
Yeah.
of conditions that is always the first time. We
And
never want to.
here's an issue that I come across. I think we're thinking along the same lines. Is that when we manufacture these conditions, it may not represent one to one, right? The actual stimulus, but we're so when we show these drills, people are like, "Oh, that's not realistic. That doesn't make sense." But we're sort of recreating physiological responses and cognitive load. Those there's a million ways. A car
Yeah,
alarm,
think
small,
about
it's
when the F1 pilot drive the car.
Mhm.
That's the application, right? The training environment is playing with balls, reaction.
That's right.
They do a lot of exercises, a lot of training
Yeah,
to exactly push the reaction time. Because think about for F1 pilot, how fast and
yeah,
hard could be to analyze the environment, to be interactive with the environment at that
right,
speed, and how much it could be hard
yeah.
to correct, to move one hand at that speed to
Right.
correct something
So
or to adapt to something.
I
So
want to mention something. As instructors, it's important for us to create a variety of these kinds of tests. Otherwise, the transfer of skill is going to be degraded. If I'm only catching balls, I'm going to get good at catching balls, right? So, in order to work the general skill set, and this is why I think you probably created hundreds and hundreds of drills, different
yeah,
specific,
sure.
but
We
adhering to the
yes,
same principle, correct?
is correct. Also, the condition, you can
That's
do the
right.
same drill with changing one parameters, and it's completely
Absolutely.
different game. I can
Absolutely.
change the level of reaction from visual stimuli to auditory stimuli, or vice versa, or multiple stimulus,
That's right.
or I can give priority to the neuromotor sequence, and then yes, it's completely different application. But what is important, people don't understand this. They always look for something real. That's the reality is outside. So we can provide them reality on the shooting range,
Yeah.
or in training. What we can provide them are tools to solve the problem they can find. That it's unknown problem. Nobody, there isn't an instructor that can tell them how will be their gunfight.
Yeah.
Every gunfight is different. Every threat is different. Every condition is different. Every environment is different. Every microenvironment is different. So
That's right.
even inside their house, they can face different conditions, completely different conditions, even in a microenvironment like their houses that they know perfectly. So we don't need to work on that. We have to work providing them, as I see training as a big box, a big box where we have to insert tools. I don't want to insert just a hammer and a screwdriver. I want to insert 10 types of screwdriver, 10 types of hammers,
Right.
10 types or pliers, 10 types of pliers, as more as I can, because the big luck we have that we these kind of tools, the weight of these kind of tools is zero. So we can carry with us the biggest training tools we can have, because the more are the tools that are inside, the more are the choices we will have in case we have to face a critical condition. The less are the tools that we put inside, the less will be the choices we have. So there
I
is a
want to
big difference.
clarify something. I want to clarify something here, right? You can have 15 different screwdrivers, but if you understand how a screwdriver works, then you don't need to necessarily, because sometimes the whole toolbox analogy, people misunderstand the toolbox analogy, right? Well, I don't want to learn 10,000 techniques. I want to understand the principle behind a handful of techniques so I'm able to execute them in a number of different ways. So just to clarify. And I
Yeah,
think
but the tools are not techniques, eh?
right. I
Are
understand
pretty.
that. So I think this is an important thing that people need to know is you need to find whether it's in martial arts or in firearms, you need to find instructors um, who can innovate within the framework of what is known. So sometimes people are like, "Oh, who are you? Who are you to create 100 zero? You created 300 drills. They can't all be good." But if they adhere to the same principles and we're developing the same generalized bulk of skill sets, it's really, really important because otherwise we get so caught up in what's known and what's predictable that we can draw false conclusions as to our abilities, you know.
Yeah, but you know what? It's the same principle. Think about, if you have only one screwdriver, you have to hope that that screwdriver works exactly for that kind of screw. Because
Right,
if you have a big one and you have a smaller screw,
right.
your screwdriver doesn't work. So that's
That's right.
why I want to have multiple screwdriver. I want to have multiple plier, multiple tools, because the more, there is a big difference between have the chance or
It.
the
It's an
position.
athlete's
Go ahead.
Okay, there is a big difference between to have a tool in my box and decide to use it or not, or which kind of tool I can use, or don't have these chances because I don't have tool in the box or I don't have the right tool in the box. So maybe I could have some tools in my box that I never will be going to use in my life, or maybe some of those tools they can make the difference in a really specific condition. So because the weight, I have no cons bringing with me these tools, why I should avoid that? The
Right.
only reason is because the more tools means more job, more sacrifices, more effort in training, and many times this is people, they don't want train for real. They want to just have fun with the tool, and they think that technology can solve this problem, this gap.
Right.
Buying technology, using technology, they can solve the problem of the lack of knowledge, yes, or
Hey,
the lack
can I
of training.
can I
They
share
are.
something with you regarding? First of all, I want to show you this. It's called the ecological approach to coaching. I think this is exactly what you do. It's exactly what you teach. This is my approach also to knife work. But first, I want to share with you real quick a modification to the toolbox analogy. Okay, you have a tool shed. Do you know what a shed is?
No.
It's like your house. You have your garage, and you keep
Yeah.
all the stuff
Okay.
there.
Okay. As the shed is the uh,
Yeah.
uh,
So there
the
in your garage, you have your climbing equipment, your shooting equipment, your training equipment. You know, for the family, that's your tool shed, and then
okay.
you have your tool box,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have your tool belt.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if I'm going to fix a leak in my bathroom, I don't bring the whole shed with me. Maybe I bring my toolbox with me. But if I am aware of what the problem is, maybe I only bring my tool belt and I only bring specific tools with me. So this is a something to think about. It's not just one box. We have a shed, we have a tool box, and we have our tool belt. And maybe we'll just need one of those tools. But it's good to have access to all of them.
I don't know. I didn't get the point, but how this can happen with the brain? What I do? I leave part of my brain at house. I mean, this is because
Yeah,
my toolbox is inside my mind.
right.
So I
So
need
this
to
is
bring
how
everything.
this is how it relates to the brain. Okay, in that you train more. It's about training prioritization, right?
That's
It,
another chapter, but I always have everything with me. What you said, it works for equipment.
right,
So
right,
I
right.
don't go to bring with me all my
Sure.
equipment. I'm going to bring me what I think that could be useful. And even here, it's a kind of mindset. Many times I did my backpack, or even starting from training, arriving from the job on the field, or even to go for
To Vegas to
trekking
go
with
to
a
Vegas. Bring
family.
your famous luggage.
Yeah, my famous luggages. Yeah, that's why. I mean, it's when I go out with a family just for trekking or in a mountain, for example, for camping or whatever. Many
Yeah.
times my wife say, "Hey, you have to bring all the stuff," and I say, I always answer the importance, the relevance of an object arrive when you need it.
That's right.
So you can carry maybe a tourniquet for years without
Never
having to
use it.
use it for luck. Or the day that you have to use it is what is going to make a difference. So
You,
not
you've
because,
heard of the condom analogy? It's like a condom.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I have for kids. That's
better, better to have it and not need it.
yeah,
Right?
better to have it not needed. Yeah, sure. Especially when it's rain.
Yeah, than to need it and not have it. Okay, can I have your attention for 1 minute and 20 seconds, and
One
then we
minute
can.
20 seconds. Yeah, that's after I have to go because the guys are here waiting for me.
Okay, then we'll wrap this up. I want you to listen to this carefully. Okay, and this is
Okay.
the way you teach.
What is it? It's an athlete centered approach that puts the learner at the center of our attention and the center of our focus, as opposed to the traditional approach that puts the coach at the center of everything that's going on. The ecological approach is going to emphasize the idea that developing skill is about developing athletes who can adapt and who can solve problems in a number of different ways. But not only that, but have the ability to then solve a bunch of different problems in a bunch of different ways, as opposed to one ideal technique, one ideal way of doing something, one ideal way of solving a problem. The ecological approach also replaces the need to ingrain motor programs and require athletes to reach a level of skill mastery before they progress to the next thing. The ecological approach allows the athlete to develop at their own pace. It allows them to find what's going to work best for them. And if the suggestion that the coach is giving for what to try or how to do something, if that doesn't really work for them, then no harm, no foul. They can find a different way of achieving the same outcome goal. So that's kind of where it starts and what it is. It's replacing this idea that one size will fit all and work for everybody.
Maybe you didn't get all of that.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm agree on the fact that every subject is different, and especially, and this is why coaching or teaching is a separate art
Absolutely.
between the discipline you are teaching or the field you are teaching. So if you are not able to transfer the information in the proper way, doesn't matter how deep is your knowledge or how big is your experience. If you are not able to transfer to other people, uh, it's completely silly. So that's why you can have a great performer, a great football player that after has a coach suck because
Horrible.
maybe is terrible in coaching, and this is works for any kind of discipline.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm agree, and this is one of the skills that that should have a good trainer. Uh, to understand who you have in front of you, because every student is different by age, by the capability of
Mhm.
receive the information, the time that required to every student to metabolize the
That's right.
information, the time that they require for each student, the way, because many times they don't have the methodology on get, even they don't take notes, for example, or because they don't. Yeah, but this is something that I saw also inside the university when I was teaching there. It's important because the methodology, even when you study, you can have a different kind of approach to the study.
That's right.
You can have a methodology where it's based on taking notes, make a recap of every chapter of every book, and you can have people that they don't do this and they move in different way. They approach any topic in different ways. So
That's
the
right.
ability of a trainer is also to understand, and this is also one important point in terms of results, because one thing is that when you explain a technique, for example, you have to evaluate if that kind of segment is good as you present, as you have presented. Why? Because maybe you see that after 2 days the students still not able to replicate the technique. So this means that or you learn or you didn't a good job explaining them, or
Yeah.
the package is too complex for that amount of time in terms of learning process. So this is
Or
a
the
kind
students just shit.
or the student, yeah, but you can't put the fault always on the students.
No, no,
You
no,
have,
no. You know, there are some people who just
yeah, yeah, that's for sure. That's, but you always face a public that is the heterogeneous public. Is
yeah,
all courses you never, even when you work with a unit that's supposed to be more
I love it.
homogeneous, you still have heterogeneous subjects because
Right.
everyone is different, right?
Yeah. Anyway, bro, that was good. I don't want to keep you waiting. I know you have people there waiting on you. I appreciate your time. We can talk about this for hours. I mean, you don't even
Yeah.
need me. You can talk about this for hours. But
No, no,
anyway,
it's important to talk with you because otherwise I'm going to talk alone. It's so boring.
all right. Well, yeah. Good luck with your shoot.
Thank you.
You know, yeah, and
Hey, follow the live. I'm going to do this evening. It's like 5 p.m. East Coast, so I think more or less in few hours.
oh, I'll be there. It's going to be on your Facebook page.
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay, I'll be there. Yeah, for those of you guys who want, Zero is going to have a civilized debate with what is this guy? Like a Navy SEAL guy?
Oh, no. It's another kind of it's army pedigree. So it's a former tier one. It's a X-ray Alpha. It's a very good guy.
Cool.
And we start with, just to be clear, it's going to be a live where we are going to start from different positions, different point of view, different approach. We disagree on many points, and this I
Man,
think is the best thing we can have in this industry when people
amazing.
disagree and discuss. Because if you surround yourself by yes men, or if you are not good
Oh, yeah.
uh, or receive criticism or accepting some different point of view on what you're doing or whatever. That is what we have in this industry. Big ego, and
Yeah.
it's more the trend to appear cool instead of,
Yeah.
you know.
Hey, where'd you
Anyway,
get that headband? Is that
what you
Pentagon?
said?
Where'd you get your
What?
head?
No, that's not. That's not. But we are producing right now with Pentagon.
I need
You
one.
like?
They sent me some, but they weren't great. I
I
love.
have
At
more.
least you have hair, bro. All right, I'll talk to you later, Zero. Good luck, brother.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Gian. Let's talk about this. Let's go deeper. Let's find. Let's create
How
more
many
live.
hours did we spend talking about this, drinking
Yeah.
whiskey? And
Right now it's 1 hour and 7 minutes.
I
Just
know
now.
that felt short. All right, brother. Good luck. I'll talk to you later.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Take care. Yeah, man. So, let me draw some I know that was gun stuff related, and let me draw some parallels about knife. I spent a lot of time with Instructor Zero, um, discussing these things, and he really influenced a lot of how I approach knife work. And this is why somebody like me, who was never in the military or was never in law enforcement, can be so bold as to teach knife material to people who have way more real life experience than me, because at the forefront of everything that I do is logic. And I don't care who you are, Delta Force, Super Cop, jungle knife dude, right? If what you're teaching does not fall within the realm of logic, then you can forget about it. Another thing that Instructor Zero talked about, um, with safety and training, right? Safety is at the very tip of the spear. It is the top of the pyramid, followed by logic. And this all started because, again, I read in my feeds about, you know, when we train with live blades, and I'm just like, to recap, if you train with live blades, okay, I think there is a definite value to training solo with live blades. But when people say that, um, oh, you learn to move very fast when you've got a machete coming at you, I'm like, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. You are just trying to propose how hardcore you think your training is. Oh, we spar with real blades. You're not sparring with real blades. You're trying your damned hardest not to actually cut the person in front of you who is likely your friend and training partner. So that's all bullshit. And another thing is understanding the difference between um, a technique, a tactic. It says right there, principles and procedures. Right, there are some procedures that are meant to develop techniques. Right, for example, that if you looked at it from an erroneous lens, you would say, well, that's not tactically or morally or legally justified. A perfect example, if you go on my Facebook page, GN, there is a video, probably one of my more, quote, popular videos. It's got over 500,000 views, and it is simply of me doing an overhand right with a knife, contacting a heavy bag with my forearm. Okay. And the reason I'm contacting that bag with my forearm is because I don't want to destroy the punching bag. Right. And so you'll have comments like, one, why are you destroying that punching bag? And then comments like, oh, you're missing the target because you're hitting with your forearm instead of the knife. And then you'll have people who comment with, oh, you're going to go to jail if you do that. And these are idiotic. I'll just say, and you know what? It used to bother me. Now it kind of makes me laugh. And sometimes I look forward even to seeing it. Right, when people, and for the most part, I don't engage with these people. But sometimes, bros, I'll be honest, I cannot resist but to feed the trolls, and I'll remark with, some sarcastic comment. Um, and then, sometimes it'll go for a few rounds and then I'll just drop it because it doesn't really matter to me. So understanding, okay, again, go on my Facebook page, the GN Facebook page. You'll see this video and the comments are hilarious, okay? Once again, it's just of me almost with a boxing stance throwing overhand rights with power while holding a blade and contacting the bag with my forearm. Then you'll get comments like, you don't need power with a knife. You just need speed and precision. And the thing about statements like, you don't need power with a knife, you just need speed and precision, is that within that fallacy, there's enough truth, right? With a knife, you do need speed and you do need precision. But those things being true does not make your third proposition true, right? Just because you need speed and precision with a knife, it doesn't mean you don't need power, right? And sometimes I will entertain that conversation and say things like, well, you're right. If you're using your knife, you maintain it well, it's got the right dimensions for you, you can deploy it, and that the edge and point integrity is such that, yes, speed and precision, you don't need power. Let the knife do the work. But what if it was a dull knife that you acquired within the context of a fight? Maybe it wasn't your knife. What if it wasn't your machete and it is this dull, light, brittle machete. Then you'd be like, I should have trained a little bit of power. So it's funny. Recently, I've seen some exponential growth happen on both my Instagram and my Facebook accounts, and I'm so grateful for the people who go there to learn and to engage. You guys inspire me every single day. You'll comment with something that really makes me think, or you'll send me a message or comment intelligently that, yeah, you get that, and that you get the idea of that. I'm so grateful for that. But with this growth, man, holy smoke, I get bros, I get and it's funny, it's like these like far left liberal type softies who, I mean, they'll still say things like, um, you don't need a knife. Just learn how to fight with your hands. And I'm like, okay, that's good. And then you'll get people from the right leaning conservative side saying idiotic things like, you know, try that against my 9mm. And it's just like, oh my God. Sometimes it's funny. And sometimes I just go, holy crap, I've not had enough coffee for that nonsense. All right. So, guys, let's go back to um, the knife. Okay. Now, I discussed with Instructor Zero why it is absolutely critical for instructors to be innovators. Okay, it doesn't mean we're reinventing the wheel, right? Just because you're innovating, you're not reinventing the wheel. It is a process of creating training variety that adheres to the same principles to develop the very same skills, right? Now, when it comes to sport or sport combat, where the variables can be controlled, then you can go tried and true and just do this one thing, right? If you're a coach who has one specific way to craft your fighter's jab proficiency and that's working, that's absolutely wonderful, right? But for things in which you cannot control the variables, it is important, again, so that you secure a higher probability to transfer generalized skill sets to a specific application. If you are in the continual process of diminishing predictability, if I'm working my reaction time by playing ping pong, there will come a time that the skill I'm developing is ping pong, not reaction time, because I've acclimated myself to one specific kind of reaction time. I hope you guys get what I'm saying, right? So it's important that you seek instructors that aren't just rehashing and regurgitating and one for one teaching you exactly how they were taught by their master according to the standards of their system, unless your mandate is cultural and artistic preservation of a system. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that you teach a classical system one-to-one the way you were taught and then call it a self-defense system. That doesn't make sense, okay? So that's what I'm talking about. Hey, Mark Clarite. Let's get to this. Yeah, opinions, right? Everyone are like assholes. Don't let the negative comments drag you down. Idiots are everywhere. Yeah, sometimes I'm the idiot. Sometimes I'm wrong. They don't drag me down. They affect my mood momentarily, but that's just me. I'm an emotional person. But it's not like I get angry or that it affects me beyond, my cup of coffee. I'll just be like, oh, tell me. Yeah. Sometimes it can get really funny. So I posted a video and some person commented like, that's the dumbest thing I ever saw. Okay, well, cool. Obviously, that's the dumbest thing you ever saw. Wow, that must have been a really terrible video, or you you don't surf the internet enough. But so this guy comments with, "That's the dumbest thing I ever saw." And I look at his profile picture, and it's him and his girlfriend. And hey, this is not a knock on any culture or subgroup, but his girlfriend looked like a dude. And then so I think my comment was, hey, I just want to make sure that I'm speaking to the right guy. Which one are you in that profile? Anyway, I was making fun of him. But yeah, sometimes I feed the trolls, man. And usually it's just to see, like, how is this guy going to respond back to it? And then it's usually something along the lines of, well, your mom. Yeah, it's juvenile, right? But allow me to play once in a while, all right? It's allows me to flex a little bit of my sarcasm and have a little bit of fun. I know I shouldn't feed the trolls, right? And but I do I do get I'll be honest, there's a petty side of me that is like, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make fun of him back. And then he's going to escalate it. And the funny thing is, when I don't comment back, sometimes you'll see them commenting like 4 or 5 times, and it does help the algorithm. And then I'll delete the comment or I'll ban the guy. And I like to think that he's just there seething in anger and composing ways to get me back. Anyway, I'm not perfect. What can I say? Like I like reading the trolls sometimes. So bear with me. I know I shouldn't. I really should spend more time really engaging with positive, intelligent commentary and asking the legitimate skepticisms and criticisms rather than responding to the guy who goes, you fucking suck. Okay. I'm going to get to the comments, guys. Thank you very much. What's up, homies? In states or countries where there is not a solid gun culture, what are some of the social, cultural hurdles you have had to get past? What was that aha moment for the participants of your instruction? Not a solid gun culture, social, cultural hurdle. There's a few ways I can interpret that question. That is unclear. I won't go there. Although when I did teach it, maybe I'll answer it in from one specific lens. And when I was in Sweden, I was talking about reaction times, right, and the mathematical deficiency that we find ourselves in from threat recognition, processing, and action initiation. I was talking about the math, and then I started talking about baseball, about that ball is traveling at 100 miles per hour at 60 feet. Mathematically, it would take this amount of time, and to process it would take this amount of time. And they were just like, what? And then so I came up with a different analogy, and I used the penalty kick in soccer, and that ball is traveling at a specific speed with a specific trajectory delivered by the kicker, and there isn't enough time for the goalkeeper to actually see that travel and react at the very last second. What they're doing are making probability judgments based on chunked information from a snapshot. Anyway, that's a bunch of bullshit. Talk about that another time, or attend my seminar. You guys can get into it. I'd rather have first of all, is a league. All right. So then we have, first of all, is a league. Okay. I think what he means is, first of all, it's illegal to carry a knife. Guys, you need to go to Ukraine and fight. That is fucking stupid. Why do we need to go to Ukraine and fight? I'm not Ukrainian. That makes no sense. But we get all of these kind of stupid commentary, like, oh yeah, why don't you go to a war zone? test your, like, well, maybe if somebody invaded Markham, Ontario, where I live, more likely to do that. I'm sorry I missed most of this. This is really cool, guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy the deep discussions. Thank you. Thank you, man. There we go. Today, New York Post. Some young kid slipped on ice wearing his tool belt, and the blunt end of his pliers stabbed him on his side. Good article. Blunt, but his body weight and velocity of his fall caused it to penetrate his side of the body. Photos and x-rays. Use it for training. The world is wild, my man. Mark Clarite, who is a law enforcement trainer out in Texas. So I'm seeing a principle adapting to context. People see context of power versus speed and precision. I just interpreted retention and grip emphasis by interpreting sudden stoppage, block, or strike thrust. Again, adapting principles to different contexts. Absolutely. Adapting principles to different contexts, having procedures to be able to teach those things. And then I suppose the last element of that is having testing or qualification, meaningful testing and qualification standards to be able to accurately or as close to accurately measuring performance. And even then, no guarantees. But I love it, man. We can talk about this stuff all day long, all day long. I always appreciate what you post. It opens my mind. And is that not what we should be doing? That is what we should be doing. I am thankful. You're very welcome, sir. Challenge him for sparring match. Yeah. I will spar anybody, man. I spar with no ego. Sometimes I jump in there just to feel a hit, to try something stupid, take a risk. Trevor Gessler, I follow you because you have broadly good and respectful attitude. Having some fun knowingly versus unconsciously getting triggered and wrapped up in it are totally different. I like that you focus on enjoyment of the art, not just tough guy social posturing. Yeah. I will, again, I have limited experience, but I can, officially and technically call myself a law enforcement and military trainer. Although that's a bit of an embellishment on the resume, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's not like I could have called myself that years ago because I have some soldier friends that I train. It's not that. Or cop friends that I train. It's not that. There's a lot of embellishment when it comes to that stuff. But I will never betray the art. I will never betray the art form. I will never betray that, art and practicality are not contradictory forces, right? You just have to be honest about how thin that bridge can often be between, artistic self-expression and something with practical value. Sometimes it's a very, very thin bridge, right? So thin that the practical value might be in just, movement or cardio and exercise. And other times, the bridge between art and practicality can be very sturdy. I find certain fundamental strikes in boxing, despite it being practical, to be actually very artful. So again, it's just being honest and not just being honest with yourself, but honest in how you present it to others. Hi, Jan. I know you put a lot of time, thought, and research into your work. Do you worry the science you bring will instill false confidence in students? No. I always tell my students how much they suck, how much I suck, and how much or how uncertain things are. I'm very real about that, and I'm demonstrative of this. My students, when we spar, they hit me all the time, right? And that is because luck has a lot to do with it. When things are moving very, very quickly, an aggressive shithead 12-year-old, when we go, sparring with padded sticks, that dude's gonna hit my hand, right? He's gonna hit me. All right. And if anybody thinks they can be impervious to error and mistakes and lapses in judgment when the rubber hits the road, they're full of shit, man. Absolutely full of shit. Do you worry the science you bring will instill fall calm? No. Let me think about that question, because I see where you're coming from, right? Like when we talk about science, sometimes people think that that's about the reliability and repeatability of outcomes. That's scientific testing. I think we're talking about a different science. Like I don't do any tests, and and anybody who says that they do is probably lying, right? I don't do any testing protocols that strictly adhere to the scientific testing process. It's impossible. I cannot control the variables on, I mean, you can test impact force, right? You can test speed, right? Those things can be scientific, but when you bring it all to the table and you're testing something like knife defensibility, it's so easy to manufacture false conclusions, and it's so easy to fool the masses with these, with videos that are edited of these testing protocols. It's just not it's not something that I'm willing to say that I mean, it's inspired by scientific data and information, but the scientific testing process, it's super rigorous, man. The real ones anyway. So, martial sciences, and it's not an actual science, it's art. Let me get this. No. Yeah. Oh man. SHOT Show's happening right now. I'm getting all these text messages from people. Oh, bro. Sorry, guys. Yeah, love and hate for SHOT Show with me, man. I mean, I love hanging out with the bros and meeting up with my buddies there. But fucking Vegas is exhausting. Just being in Las Vegas, it's just it's exhausting, especially SHOT Show. I love Vegas though. Fuck, I can probably sit in front of a slot machine right now and have a grand old time. But yeah, that's it. But I just want to say, man, again, I can look at the stats. I'm probably generating. I know on my Instagram, the stats were anywhere between 2.7 to 3 million reached in the last 30 days. That's not an exaggeration. You see that right there? Currently it's 2.9. 2.9 accounts reached in the last 30 days. And yeah, I'm lucky to have, 1 or 2% of those accounts really get to a stage where they analyze my content beyond that one thing that brought them in. And I like to think that it's a cool loop, right? And I'll share this loop with you. The loop ends, by the way, when we see each other in person and we spend a little bit of time with each other. That's the end of the loop, and that's where friendships begin. But it's usually that somebody's heard about me or talked about me, or they see one post and then they make a judgment about the totality of who I am based on that one post. Phase 1. Phase 2, they hear about me again, they see another post, and then they go, wait, there's something else. And then they start to see more of my posts and really begin to interpret the totality of what I'm saying. And they begin to paint a more congruent and accurate picture. Because sometimes I'll post dick jokes, and it's not all I do. I do love dick jokes. But this is the risk that I take, in that I release a piece of media asset, and somebody out there will judge the totality of who I am based on that one piece of content. But this loop is interesting, right? And then the next part of the loop, and they're like, I gotta meet this guy, or I gotta message this guy, or I gotta call this guy and learn more. And then we meet in person. And then it's like, oh, we're best buddies now. And I love that part. And then, I couldn't count the amount of times, and I'm really grateful that I've met so many great friends from like all around the world who, maybe I'll see them again in 4 years. But those moments where we are with each other in person, those are special. Those are different. I value those times. Here's one of those dudes. Yo, GN, Jean-Jacques is coming to Croatia to train at my place next week on the islands. You coming, bro? I would love to go to Croatia. Tell you what, you pay for my flight and I'll be there. Wait, hold on. I just want to make sure I can honor that. Next week, I can be there. I can be in Croatia. I got to be back for the 10th because I have a seminar here. But I got a seminar in Toronto on the 10th with my sexy man friend, Chris Mandigma. Another time. But that's cool that you and Jean-Jacques is coming to Croatia. That's cool. I mean, I think he's in France, Croatia. I don't know. You can probably take a train there. How far is France from Croatia? How far is Paris to Split? Say. Distance from Split to Paris. Oh, damn, that's pretty far. I was a little off. I mean, it's not that. It's 1,000 miles? Holy. Oh. Dang. I mean, yeah, that would take a long time. How many countries would you have to pass through to go from Paris to Split, Croatia? Oh, I mean, it's not that far. Estimated travel time between Split and Paris. If you're traveling at, let's say 50 miles per hour, it would only take you 21 hours. Yeah, you can drive that. You can take a train there. Anyway, where was I? What am I talking about? Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, you guys. Oh, you know what I've been recently into? I've been to the 64 attacks of Pikiti Tertia. That is, man, I used to like really not like forms and standards and like katas. What a 360. No, 360 means I'm back to where I started. What a 180-degree turn I've taken. The 64 attacks of Pikiti Tertia. Oh my God. What a beautiful form. Now, some parts of me have changed about, katas and forms and memorizing a 64 move sequence. I think people still make too much of it. I think they go, makes me a better fighter, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. No. Now, I'll tell you why I wrote the 64 attacks. I was speaking with Tuhan Jacques Latour about it, and I wrote something that I thought was really cool. Okay. So many great side effects to trying to tackle the 64 attack subsystem of Pikiti Tertia? Number one, the decision to take on the challenge, first hurdle. Next, the process of learning it is a challenge. The side quests that I have found along the way in trying to learn a 64, and by the way, the 64 attacks of Pikiti Tertia isn't just learning attack 1, attack 2, attack 3, attack 4, attack 5, attack 6. It's not that simple because there are associated footwork models and uncounted movements, transition points from one attack or one defense to another. So perhaps let's keep it simple. There is an angle 1 attack, and then a lateral attack. It isn't just knowing this and then this coming next, because there might be some crazy roundabout way that transition you from one attack to the other. So I'm still learning the 64 attack subsystem. If you guys are interested, first step, go on YouTube and type in 64 attacks. If you don't find the right stuff, 64 attacks, Pikiti Tertia. In fact, let me do this for you guys now, because there are really some extraordinary videos about the 64 attacks that I have found. And I'm going to show you my favorite ones, but the one that has really terrible music. The one that really helped me was Pirate Dog Sebastian Poirier. I filmed him doing very casually the 64 attacks when we were in Salt Lake City together. He trains under Tuhan Philippe Gelina. He is a Quebecer. He is a dog brother. And he is a Mataas na Guru in the Pikiti Tertia Tactical Association. And, you talk about somebody who can appreciate form and tradition and culture, but also is a pretty damn badass fighter. That's the dude that I'm going to gravitate to. But the first video I'm going to show you, let me just share this here. This is what I believe this is Tuhan Bob from Katipunan. Okay. A beautiful, absolutely technically stunning interpretation of the 64 attacks. So let me share screen, close Pornhub. Just kidding. You sick fucks. Okay. Now, he chose some terrible music, no fault of his own. Let me see. I'm just gonna set this up so that, yeah. But what a stunning 64 attack interpretation by Tuhan Bob. You guys ready for this? This is so beautiful. Oh, this guy is so beautiful. No homo, but you guys get what I'm saying. All right, here he is. Oh my God. Here. Okay, wait. No, I thought I could stand that music. That music's terrible. We're gonna start this again. Terrible music, but beautiful form. Here we go. Oh my God, stunning. Look at this precision. Oh, he even added that effect. Totally not needed, but look at this. Gorgeous 4 walls. Bap, 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 bap. All right. So the 64 attacks, people make too much of it. It's a great challenge in number one, memorization and partitioning the different subsystems of Pikiti Tertia into digestible bits and chunks, and each one of these systems are or subsystems are a complete study and of their own. That was fencing line. I believe that was Dakupi Puño, break in, break out. Panastas Sonquete, I believe. And then he's going to go into the clock system, the Orasan. This part always looks funny to me. I'll show you one that looks really funny. As far as the Orasan always looks funny. I'm going to show you Paul Ingram from Kali Center. When he does it, I just, by the way, he does it beautifully as well and very rapidly. But it's funny. What the hell? All right. You guys are going to see me surf on the fly. Where is the search function of this? There we go. 64 attacks. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Where's this guy? This is kind of makes me laugh sometimes. Does he have music? Yeah, better music. That's nice, man. Oh, that's sexy, bro. Yep. So different interpretation, right? Right? Totally different vibe. Pickups. Slide. Yeah. I don't care who does it. That part's always gonna look silly to me. Still very precise, man. Very precise, and you can tell he's put a lot of work into that. So the other one, why I appreciate this is he's teaching it, right? This is a great resource material. This is from Tuhan Bill.
64 attacks, the form seen from the right side.
He counts it off. Love it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So he's doing it
7,
lower
8,
altitude,
9,
less intensity,
10, 11,
right? Almost very
12,
comfortable.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
I would say even
19, 20,
sterile.
21,
In a
22,
good way. Yeah, you want things to
23,
be sterile when you're trying to
24,
get the standard.
25,
And then you infuse your
26,
style and your
27, 28,
Right? So this is a great
29, 30,
learn.
31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58.
You got the idea.
50.
Right? That's very cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So yeah, look up 64 attacks on YouTube. Yeah. But yeah, my biggest references and resources and inspiration. Sebastian, simply because that is the video that I used, and then Tuhan Kit Asenas. So, oh man, it's going to be a lifetime of exploring the 64 attacks. Anyway, this started off with Instructor Zero talking about like addressing training fallacies and myths and, you know, more practical stuff. And then all of a sudden we are here and we are talking about um, a classical kata or form in a traditional classical martial art. So that's cool. He's one of the PTK instructors who keeps it super real and down to earth. So I wouldn't think so. What are you talking about? Brian, can you pour coffee in here? He's one of the PTK instructor who keeps it super real and down to earth. I know a few of those guys. Who are you talking about, Pedro? Who keeps it super real? Sebastian, Tuan Philip. It was a reply to a question above. Oh, you're on Facebook, so yeah, I might not. Probably don't see that. Thanks, Ryan. You're on Facebook, see the chat, Facebook feed. What question? Who are you referring to? He's one of the PTK instructors who keeps it super real and down to earth. I'm going to have to make it out to you one of these days and attend a seminar. CL my T.Cousins in Scarborough. I am holding a seminar February 10th. Come true. Am I the PTK instructor who keeps it super real? Is this the question? Do you worry the science you will bring will instill a false sense of confidence? Is this about me? Am I super real and down to earth? Just appease my ego. Let me know it's me. You guys want to see something cool? Very sharp. Very sharp. Press. Not so sharp. It's cool. Yeah, this dude sent me a bunch of these. I like them. They're cool. I'm helping him market it. But yeah, I got to be real. Like, and the way I've marketed it is really authentic. I just think it's super fun. It's super cool. Can it be a good impact tool? Yes. Can it cut and stab? Yes. Is it my first choice for those things? No, it's not. But it is cool. It's like kind of like a dagger karambit. There's that button that you press. Yeah, super cool. And then, you guys want to see something else? This is a training tool. I'm just mounted a whole bunch of. This is a legit. It's a legit training tool. It is the cert stick, and you use the. Jeez, it's been a while. Anyway, there's a cert pistol. Why is it getting caught here? Did I not install this? There we go. So you got your cert pistol. Boop, boop. Legit training tool. These are almost. These are quite expensive, but they're worth it. They're like $400. But used by a lot of training professionals. So you mount it on this AR type platform. Yeah. Why do I have this? Because I got it for free. I got this site for free. Why do I have this site? Because I just didn't want to leave it around, so I just mounted it. Yeah. Anyway, very cool. But this is the real novelty part. Pat, pat, pat. Right. So he created a Picatinny rail mount to it. Just in case. It looks badass. And that, I mean, it's, I don't know, bros. I don't know what to say about that. I just think it's freaking cool as hell to mount on a training gun. Now, would I recommend it to a soldier or a cop? No, I wouldn't. I don't know how strong that is. I'm not about to find out. But it is sharp and pointy and definitely stabby. But I don't know, man. I don't know, dudes. I don't know. It just looks cool. Up Knife. The company is called Up Knife. And it's just by like this super smart engineering dude. So, I mean, I'm well outside of my lane to recommend it with any level of credibility, right? But maybe you make that judgment call, right? I'm not here to judge. You make that judgment call. You want one of these for your AR platform? Go get you one. And I think there's a GN promo code as well, right? But let's be real. Yeah, people who customize and build their AR, they like all sorts of cool shit there that they'll never use anyway. Might as well get a bayonet because it looks freaking cool. But yeah, I'm well within my pay grade, way outside of my lane to recommend that to people for anything other than looks pretty damn cool. Yeah, maybe I'll go make a video. I'll just be real with it. Yeah. Oh man, I got some editing to do. Just so much editing, so much. Yeah. Nicola, by the way, I have processed a lot more of the PTTA Asia Training Conference documentation. It should be up there already. I suggested to the admins there that they drip that content because the likelihood is somebody's just going to blast through it. And it's like hours and hours. I'm estimating the full documentation package is something, it's going to be like 24 to 30 hours of material. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the Pikiti Tertia Tactical Association had their Asia Training Conference a few months ago. I was there documenting it. And since then, I've been editing it into a curated reference library of all the lessons, the tutorials, behind the scenes, interviews, drills, drill progressions, context, nuances, and details. And there's just a lot of information. For those of you guys who didn't attend, it's going to cost you $700 to access this material. And I think that is undervalued. It's worth so much more than that. Just the amount of people who went there kind of know, like, it was a lot of material. And so for people who went there, who invested in this training documentation, I think you guys got a steal for the price that you got it for. I mean, there's so much good material. In fact, as so I was there, and as I'm editing it, I'm field testing it again to my students. I'm getting them to do these drills, and man, it's a game changer. Some of it is a little bit like, meaning it's too deep right now for me to field test. Some of it is like that, or I will just take people up to a certain progression. Some drills like have training progressions up to like 15 training progressions. It's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lessons curated into one package that you can buy and get all at once. It's freaking wild. Really wild, man. Really, really solid. There's like 6 Tuhans and Grand Tuhan Leo Gahe teaching at this material, at this conference. Go to www.pikiti.university. It's just extraordinary. Yeah, like 6 Tuhans teaching and Grand Tuhan. And I got some exclusive interviews that's going to come from that. Oh, yeah, you got your package, babe. I'm doing a live feed. Pedro Wagon, I'm not criticizing Gian. I'm asking him if he sees any issues, knowing very well he is one of the few instructors who will address it openly. Yeah. Yeah, no, hey, don't get in a fight, guys. I took no offense by it whatsoever. That's a good question, actually. It's a good question. Like, why do I fear that by talking about science that I'm going to give my students a false sense of confidence? No, bros. Like, we pressure test everything, and we constantly spar. And so that sparring and meaningful pressure testing and also diagnostic drills are incredibly important. Diagnostic drills are super important. It is the natural disinfectant to dogma. So there is no and this is an important topic. Let's talk about this, okay? This is something that I cover in my in-person seminars. Let's make a banner about it so that people know what I'm talking about, and then I can find it later on. Hang tight. This is kind of important. Intellectualizing superior defensive solutions. That's freaking wordy, Rubio. What are you doing? But it's true. That can be wordy sometimes. Okay. All right. So, guys, I want to talk about intellectualizing superior defensive solutions. And this is at the core of it. On the internet, we find argumentation about what is a superior defense to a specific attack. What is the superior defense to an overhand right in reverse grip? What is the superior defense to a low line lateral thrust? A low line linear thrust. What is the superior defense? Well, some people say, well, you gotta parry and you gotta pass and control. Some people say you just catch it. Some people say you need to have a bisecting line followed by 2-on-1. Some people say you just slap it out of the way and kind of do a quick parry. So when we intellectualize and have argumentation about what is the best defense, the first point we need to realize is that there is no defense without a vulnerability, right? I defend high, they cut low. I use a bisecting line. It requires more time. I use faster, fine motor skills. Then we diminish our precision, or we increase the chance of, it's got a smaller margin for error. We need something with big margins for error. So when we intellectualize what we think the best defense is, we have to do it civilly, but also understanding that it doesn't fucking matter whether you think one defense is better than the other. What you need to actually find out is what instinctively and naturally comes out of you when you create training environments that honestly put you or honestly recreate the parameters of a real life event. And that doesn't mean necessarily like scenario training, right? You can create diagnostic drills that recreate super compressed time with high levels of anticipatory energy and stress to gauge, what is likely to come out of you. Those things are very easily manufactured and manipulated. But if you can come up with some good testing protocols that actually meaningfully recreate extreme time constraint, high levels of anxiety and or stress, while recreating the physiological effects of stressful conditions, right? Like increased heart rate, all of these things. If you can recreate that in a diagnostic drill that is safe and repeatable, then you have given your students a tool to figure out what actually comes out of them. And so they are faced with a decision. Decision number one: Do I try to circumvent what naturally and instinctively comes out of me because option B is more logical? Okay. Or do I craft and develop and better understand what naturally comes out of me so that I increase the probability of natural reaction, to be successful? Okay. Neither one of these is the right answer. It's a personal answer, right? If you find yourself just freaking swatting, right? And for the life of you cannot execute a gross motor bisecting line while moving to the outside, you have a choice. Are you going to put in the hard work to be able to overwrite what's built into you? Or are you just going to make the thing that's already built into you better? That's a personal choice. I can't tell you how to answer that. But yeah, so it doesn't make sense, unless we do it, civilly and towards some sort of an understanding. It's good to have intellectual conversations sometimes, right? But oftentimes, most times, martial arts conversations kind of just like slippery slope, because one person is going to appeal to authority and blah 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 blah, and this defense is I got a cop friend and this worked for him, therefore it'll work. Oh yeah, well, I've got a cop friend with 25 years who says it doesn't work. Oh yeah, well, I got a Navy SEAL friend who says it does work. Oh yeah, well, I got a Navy SEAL commander that says that it doesn't work. And it's just like appeal to authority after appeal to authority. It's like, guys, right? They're contextually valid. Find out if it's valid for you, and then find out if it's actually coming out of you when you pressure test and you test. Anyway, that's it. Me happen. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. Whoa, 2 hours. Thanks for being here, guys. Who's here? Who's creeping? Who are these? Who are these people that are on here and that haven't said anything or written anything? What do you think this is? Striptease? Let me know. Who's here? Say hello. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. Me. Who are you? George Timothy McCall. Me from Junction City, Kansas. Good. Thank you. What's up, Adam? Cool. I just want to know, guys. You guys are here. Freaking say hello. What is this? Oh, look. Okay, the numbers are dropping. Probably because it's wrapping up. Good. Just want to know. See, some people don't want to say hi. They just leave the party. What is this? Freaking Irish goodbyes? Cool. Thank you. Robert Small. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yo, what's up? Cheers. All right. That's good. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Just let me know. You guys are in my house. Oh my God. My dog got, you know what dog I have? What kind of dog do you think I have? Some of you guys know. Think about it. Knife guy. Into martial arts. What kind of dog do you think I have? Pit bull? Rottweiler? You pass him to me.
Give him this.
Pit bull. Yeah. Yeah, he's close to a pit bull. I got a Shih Tzu, and he got his boots today. There you go. And he likes blueberries.
Only frozen blueberries.
Did he? Oh, only frozen. Why come he spat it out?
Because he probably doesn't like
Oh,
his boots.
Oh, he's uncomfortable. There you go, Bubba.
Okay, come on.
He's got to get used to those.
Yeah. Okay, come on.
Come on, bro. 3 pit bulls? Jeez. My goodness. You have 3 pit bulls. I love pit bulls, by the way. Pit bulls are freaking amazing.
Okay, come on.
Rakesh, what is that? That's South Africa, yeah? Is that South Africa? Is that South Africa? What is South Africa? Check it out. I don't know why I have a South African 10, whatever. What are they called? Anyway, but yeah, it's my memento from South Africa. What are you?
He doesn't want to move.
Who's got 2 Shih Tzus? Yay, sweet. Shih Tzus are great.
Come on, he doesn't want to move.
Move.
Come on.
He's afraid to walk in his new boots. Shih Tzus are pretty much cats.
I hate cats.
All right. Well, thanks for introducing yourselves, guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, Shih Tzus are attention whores. They like to like smell. You ever notice that when you take your Shih Tzu for a walk, like more than other dogs, they just like want to sniff stuff a lot. Like all he wants to do is sniff and try to help my leg. Yeah. Well, no, my dog's not. Mine's not really an attention whore. Doesn't want attention. He just wants to be around, which is cool. Yeah. My Shih Tzus are quite obedient though. Like I trained this guy. Like if I say off, he gets off. If I say move, he moves. He can sit, stand, stay. The cool thing about my Shih Tzu, if I drop a piece of steak or meat or like any sort of delicious thing that dogs want, drop it right in front of him. He'll look at it, and then he'll look at me, and then he'll wait for a command that says, yes, he can grab it. Which is pretty cool. It's really difficult to do for dogs. It's so primal for them to want to meat. Anyway. Another thing, you guys, I had my Instagram subscription temporarily disabled until the 28th of January for violating their terms of service by posting a fist fight between 2 men that ended in a handshake and a hug. The algorithm deemed it as dangerous acts of violence, which is funny because I've posted people getting shot and stabbed, and then that's fine. But yeah, 2 people fist fighting and then settling their differences, shaking hands and giving each other a hug. Gets me a term of service violation. Suspends my subscription platform for a week. But if you've already subscribed, you're not affected. I'm still creating content for my subscribers on Instagram. They can still see it. I can still engage and interact with it. But if you're there to subscribe, you won't be able to. It's not there, which I think it freaking sucks, man. Because the last couple of days, I've been trying to promote my subscription platform because I think it's freaking dope. It is where I really dish out a lot of the knowledge and the tutorials and the context and more in-depth stuff behind the scenes too. Naked pictures of me with knives, me clenching guns in my butt cheeks, things like that. It's like an OnlyFans, but for knives. And it's only $3.99 a month. Like, that's really cheap. Oh my God, they're fighting with holy shit. How is this? Oh my God. Oh, like, how is this on Instagram and a fist fight is not? Oh my God. Y'all want to see some crazy shit? You guys know what a sangot is? It's like a gigantic karambit it's like a sickle. Holy crap. All right, let me know if you guys want to see it. It's not gory, but it's, oh my God, these dudes are stepping up. Oh, shit, they're freaking crazy, bro. They are fighting each other with sickles. Sickle fight. I'm going to show it to you guys. I'm going to show this shit to you. Look at this. Oh! Oh, ooh. Oh my gosh. What is this fight about? You cut my sugar cane. No, you cut my sugar cane. Oh, boom, he got one in the leg. And then it's out. Point fighting. And then there you go. There you go. Look at this dude. He's just walking up. I got a sickle. You got a sickle. First strike. Boom! Gosh, dang it. And then, yeah. me posting two dudes fist fighting and then shaking hands after. That's so bullshit. You guys are following me on Instagram, yeah? You guys should be following me on Instagram. You should be oh wow. I'm still getting views on this. This has like 2.5 million views. Check it out. This is me and Tuhan Eric Lalonne playing this game. Check out this game. It's my quick draw game. I invented it. I see a lot of people doing this drill now without attributing it to me. The game is not new, but the specific parameters that are I think maybe proprietary. See that? I draw. He's open. I'm concealed. Ooh, I thought I had him, but I didn't. Tuhan Eric's a bad man. Follow me on Instagram. There's a lot of dope shit, man. Super dope. Let's see what else. Am I just surfing Instagram on a? This is more like I guess like a live stream than a podcast. Just kind of hanging out. Okay. Ooh, might be going to Israel. So I would love to get you. Nope, maybe not. I'm free. Let's make it happen. I've been getting a lot of seminar requests, guys, for different places, but I am just not really doing a great job at following up and following through right now. Because my mind is occupied. It's processing the 64 attacks, and I'm working on these edits, but that's wrapping up pretty soon. So I should be contacting a whole bunch of people. I'm definitely having 3 seminars in LA, definitely 1 in Germany. We're working on 1 in the Houston and Dallas area. Hopefully I get back to New York City again. That was a great group of people. And then maybe Alaska, Kurt, and then Florida, North Carolina, Poland, and San Diego. Looking forward to all of those. There was another one, Arizona. Yeah, there's a bunch of requests from Arizona. But see, the problem is, like, I live in Canada, so if I were to go to like the United States, like the flight cost eats up a lot of the potential revenue that I might make, to provide for my family and stuff like that. So it's got to be like I got to do, bigger seminars and or back-to-back seminars. But I'm in no rush. You know what I mean? Like, in Colorado Springs. That's it. That's right. I got to contact this dude. In Las Vegas. You know who? It's interesting. The people that call me out to do seminars at their academies are jiu-jitsu guys and Krav Maga people, and that says a lot. I mean, the one in New York, that was a Wing Chun guy, but then they cross-train a lot. So what's my name on Instagram? Mark, let's do one. I got a guy who called me actually from Houston. 2 people called me from Houston. No, 1 person called me from Houston. He really wants to do a seminar. He works for a church group also. He's got a bunch of people. I don't think he's wholly equipped to host. So then I posted on my Facebook page, and I got a bunch of recommendations for people to host me in the Houston area. And then one of them contacted me and said to call him. So I'm going to go call him, I think, after this. So let's do that. But man, what can you help out with that? You're super organized. Yeah, bro, let's work it out. I need some barbecue, and I miss being around Texans, man. So let's make a Houston seminar happen. And I think what might be interesting, no, I don't need a fallback necessarily. I need a good point of contact. just maybe to be my Houston guy. One thing that I want to do is knife fighting theory, and I add theory to that because it's not a classical martial art, and it is not completely self-defense. It's kind of a hybrid. So knife fighting theory, and obviously we're going to do application-based stuff, but because it's sort of like in this nether region between using some classical training methodologies, bring them to more modern scientific methodologies, bringing them all together and using dueling as a context to test ourselves. It's kind of like in this weird gray area where it's like there's an intersectionality of people who might be interested between martial artists and law enforcement dudes who just want the next level up to address. It's absolutely right that we should first focus on what's more common, what's more probable, what we can intake, digest, and retain very, very quickly, right? But then beyond that, there are going to be a subsection of people who want an evolution to that. And while we can continue to train the fundamentals, there are meaningful variations that we can infuse. And that's where my knife fighting theory program, I wrote it up. I wrote up knife fighting theory. And I didn't want it to be like knife combat or knife fighting seminar, because I think those can be a little bit hokey. But if we add theory there, then we are a little bit more free to explore less probable. We're a little bit more free to explore things in knife fighting, like baiting and deception. Unfamiliar trajectory changes, right? Cognitive overloads. So things like that, decision making under stress, while also doing cool things like, okay, we're going to sequence. We are going to do flow drills. We are going to push the limits of our cognitive ability, and particularly how quickly we can adapt to new motor movements. And yeah, it's knife fighting theory. Okay, that's what I'm calling it. Yeah. Blade concepts. Yeah, something along those lines. You know what I mean? It's kind of like this in between. It's in between. It's really, again, exploring the intersectionality between martial arts and combatives. Both just sound really weird. So yeah, knife fighting theory. You son of a bitch. Hey, babe.
Yeah.
This guy is fishing while he's listening to my live feed. What a dick. What a dick. What would be cool is if I was fishing and doing a live feed and you're watching me while you're also fishing. This is just rubbing it in my face because I love fishing. I'm currently training in Santo Kali. Would your basic knife training videos help in my training and practice? Yeah, I need his life too, Mark. Tell me about it, bro. When am I going to see you next? Are you going to Utah for the USA Training Conference? I'll see you there. We'll have some tacos. Oh, by the way, Mark, I would like to show you the evolution of my classroom portion for my knife program. You were one of the first law enforcement trainers that I passed it through, and your feedback was really helpful. And after field testing it to like 8 different seminars, it's evolved some. Yeah, it's evolved some. I'm currently training in Santo Kali. Would your basic knife training videos help in my training and practice? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What might help is because this is not a knock on Santo Kali, because I think it's a wonderful system. It is a generalization of group classes as a whole, in that everybody learns together and based on the group. And so a lot of people, especially older people with experiences in other martial arts, you can always train the fundamentals, right? And you can always train the fundamentals. But some people can identify deficiencies in their training, right? Like, for example, you might say to yourself, I need more work on, reverse grip, 3-strike combinations, right? And that's what my training modules address. It's very specific. On my Facebook page, it says that these are hyper focused knife modules. They are not going to replace Bikini University, PTTA, PTI. They're not going to replace the entire curriculum of Kali's Illustrissimo or Inasanto Kali. It's not that. It is kind of like a plug and play. It's kind of like a patch, a software patch to your existing software, right? Or like a widget. So if you need specific ones to pad, yeah. What I would recommend for you, because Santo Kali does not have the Sabayan platform. They have something similar, which is Sombrada. It's a give and take, but the Sabayan platform specifically is it's what I focus almost the entirety of my classical knife training on. It is a simple 3-step drill with just like infinite variability in usage. I use it to train choreography for cool guy fight scenes. I use it to train seeking outside 2-on-1 control, inside control. I use it to train disengagement and striking. I use it to train chisao. I use it to train knife. I use it to train firearm deployment from concealed and open carry. Just an absolutely crazy drill. Now, principally, you can use any 3-loop cycle. But anyway, this one's really special. And bro, it's $15. I made the video tutorial with my son and my daughter because I also identified a lot of people who want to train don't really have good training partners. So it was important for me to give you the tools to make good training partners. So if that resonates with some of you guys, check out the Sabayan module, trainwithgn.com. Yeah, a lot of people have this problem, man. Like, I don't have a good training partner. Like, okay, do you have a son or a daughter or a wife or a girlfriend? Because you can make them a good training partner very, very rapidly. Specific, if we're going to be working on specific things, right? You're welcome, man. You're welcome. If I have to fight a mountain lion upriver, should I use saksak or pakal grip? Serious question, I see. Let me see. So I have to fight a mountain lion upriver. Okay. It depends on your orientation of where that river is flowing. For example, if the flow of the river is coming towards you, meaning to say your face is, you are facing the flow of the river. And with the assumption, and this is a real assumption, that mountain lion has higher ground, right? It is on top. It makes sense to be in the forward grip. Makes sense to be in the forward grip. Okay. Okay. Now, if the flow of the river is hitting you from behind, even if you are in a lower position, the flow of that river is going to create, what's the word? It's going to hit your back and it's going to go around. Okay. And if that mountain lion is on top of you, he's going to have to deal with that force. Now, depending on the force of the river, okay, but what you want to do is basically just get some kind of a stab anywhere. It doesn't need to be fatal, right? And that's what's going to allow you to push off and disengage, and then that river will carry that mountain lion downriver, downstream. Cool. Hope that answers your question. So it depends on your orientation to the direction of the river flow. But definitely, yeah, you can take that mountain lion. Any other questions like that? What is sexual orientation? I'm straight unless I am in a training conference and I share an Airbnb with martial artists. Then, whatever, anything goes. It's all training. Crazy. I'm not teaching my wife a better way to kill me. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Well, she's killing you slowly anyway. So you might as well be there you go. Cool. All right. Well, that's it, you guys. I think that's it, man. It's 2.5 hours. I think if I were to do like a live stream, tell you what, I got an idea. I want to see if this will work. Hang tight, amigos. You're about to see something here. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me just set this up. I'm opening up my editing platform. I'm opening up the PTTA Asia Training Conference project. Now I am going to see if I can even share this application and see how well this works live. Cool. Let's see. Tuhan Patches project. Oh my God. Okay. So I'm going to present, share screen, window. No. Brave tab. Entire screen. No, it doesn't look like I can share an application. Oh, that's too bad. Video file, slides. Can I share slides? Nope. I was going to see if you guys were able to extra camera. No. Share screen. I was gonna edit some martial arts videos in front of you guys, but it doesn't seem as if I can share the window of an editing platform. It's not a video file, no, obviously. Share screen. No. Window. No. Entire screen. What if I minimize this? Does it show up? Oh. Well, I suppose it is possible to do it like this. Let me see. Yeah, that's not going to work.
The application of what we're trying to do. Okay, I'm trying to hit his head, boom, then hit his leg. Okay, so first strike, let's go fluid all the way down. Okay, go for a leg strike.
Yeah.
You can go through and
If I made this bigger like this.
Something like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, no. Not happening. Whoa, that's cool. That's weird. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I think I need a different software to do that. Zero, send me another message. 60 seconds. Oh, it's nighttime. This guy's sending me fishing videos. What a joker.
Full moon. Got my fishing rod. Shittest quality. It's time to fish.
You ain't catching shit, bro. Oh shit. Adam sent me. Ooh. Wow. Yeah. Cool. What are we doing here, guys? Why are you guys still here? Just kidding. Wait, where am I broadcasting this to? Oh, okay. It's broadcasting on my YouTube channel. Oh yeah. Somebody wanted to know my my Instagram. Create banner. Here it is. At GN _ Does anybody know why I call myself GN? Anybody know what it stands for? Does anybody know what GN stands for? There's a little comment. Peace. Get back to work. Yeah, it's Thursday. Were you guys all unemployed or something? 225? You're welcome. All right. That's it. Oh, man, I need to I want to show you guys something else. Continue with Google. Paulo.rubio. Oh, cool. Hey, somebody else bought me a coffee. Oh, that's really nice. That's really sweet. Yeah, if you guys like this, I'm scheduling my second half of the year. Follow me there. Also, want you guys to save this. Type in buy me a coffee. Yeah, there we go. Is that right? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, I'm sharing it for two reasons. One, I love coffee, and if you appreciate what I do, what I represent, I would appreciate a coffee. But I'm also sharing it because if you're a content creator or whatever, it's a really cool thing, man. It's like it's just a way to reciprocate, you know. You don't get anything in return other than send me a message, I get a note, and you're like, oh, this guy bought me a coffee, and I'll write you and I'll be like, thank you for getting me a coffee. I think it's just so pure, you know, like there's just really nothing. You get nothing. You get nothing in return. You get if you it costs $5 for a coffee. I actually drink a lot of coffee, so it's probably going to go towards coffee or my crippling meth addiction, one or the other. That's not funny to joke about that. Anyway, if you want, but if you're a content creator, there's a great resource, buymeacoffee.com. Use it, figure it out. But also for me personally, if you guys want to buy me a coffee, that'd be awesome. That's it. Enough peddling. Enough peddling for your hard-earned dollars. Okay. We can just chill. Right? We just chill out. Follow me here. Link in bio. Anyway. Thank you guys for being here. Okay. I think that's enough. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get some work done. Thank you. No, seriously, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being here. Yeah, feel free to message me, write me on social media. If the comments are quality, if the question is good, sincere, intelligent, I will reply to you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Peace out.